Hi everyone, my name is Rainika. Thank you so much for joining me on this month's devotional topic. I am super excited to be sharing my first video devotional series with you all. So I appreciate all the comments and likes and everything that we've had thus far as we focus on our topic for this month, which is called Overload Your Faith. And so over the next few weeks, we're going to share scripture, testimonies. I want to hear from you guys essentially about how to build your faith and how to trust God even more. So last week I gave you 3 different what I call faith facts as to the benefits of building your faith and trusting God even more. And the first one, which we're going to talk about today, is called faith that moves your mountains. And over the next couple weeks, we'll dive into those other faith facts as well. So we want to get started. We'll talk about faith that moves your mountains. And in this case, we want to journey on to the book of Mark. And we're going to start at Mark chapter 11, verses 22 through 24. And I'll read them for you. I'm actually reading the CSB version. Mark 22:11 says, Jesus replied to them, "Have faith in God. Truly I tell you, if anyone says to this mountain, be lifted up and thrown into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believe what he says will happen, it will be done for them. Therefore I tell you, everything you pray and ask for, believe that you have received, and it will be yours." Now, I want you to take a visual journey with me. I want you to just imagine a mountain in front of you, this big object, this big mass in front of you, something that looks too big to climb, something that you can't overcome, but it's right there in front of you. And I ask you this one question. If you had to get on the other side of the mountain, what would you do? So here in Mark, it talks about the mountain being picked up and thrown into the sea. So let's talk about that. What might be your mountain in your life? Is it fear? Is it doubt? Is it insecurity? It could be a number of different things, but you have this sitting right in front of you and you don't know how to overcome it. So the Bible gives us a strict step here as to how we can move forward in dealing with those mountains. So the first thing I wanted to point out is that in 22 it says, have faith. That tells us right there that as Jesus was talking to the disciples, they needed to have more faith. Now you're talking about a group of people who are with Jesus, who have been with Jesus, and yet they still lack in their faith. And that's okay, because Jesus, as our comforter, as the one who tells us how to move forward and guides us through life, is giving us tips on how to overcome those things in our life. So he's saying have faith. He didn't say use your current faith or because of faith, but he's literally saying, hey, you have some faith, but I want you to come a little bit closer. I want you to trust me a little bit more. And it goes on to say that, truly I tell you, anyone who says to this mountain, be lifted up and thrown into the sea. And when I read that, I thought about it, and it kind of sat differently with me as I recently read it, because I've always just thought about the mountain being moved. But in this case, God is saying we literally have the strength to pick up our fear, pick up our doubt, pick up our insecurities, and whatever it is, to throw it into the sea. If the mountain was just moved, you could still see it. You'd possibly still have to go through it again. But the fact that you are able to pick up this mountain and move it says that God is giving us the strength to move it. And that's exactly what your faith will do. It will move whatever mountain is in front of you, whatever you are facing, and allows you to go forward. And so it then goes on to say that he doesn't want us to doubt. So here's where we have to do some work. Here's where we have to do our own part in trusting God. And so a lot of times we may say to ourselves, well, I've been dealing with this for a long time, or my parents dealt with this, or, this is what my friends say about me. This is what others think about me. No, it's about you believing in God, getting past those things that you think, casting down all of those thoughts so that you can move forward in your faith. And I'll read for you. 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought under the obedience of Christ. So you're literally taking every thought that goes against you, building your faith in God, trusting God, and you're not even allowed to take root into your mind, into your heart. That is exactly what you want to do. That is how you move those mountains in your life. You don't sit there and dwindle and worry about the different things that are going on in your life and why you can't do this and why you'll never do that. And because of your past, you're stuck where you are. No, you have to believe and don't doubt in your heart, just as it says. And lastly, it says, therefore, I tell you, everything you pray for and ask, that you will be received. And see, at the end, God gives us a promise for our faith. He tells us, if you're sitting here and you have this mountain in front of you, not only do you have the power to speak life and to have this mountain be picked up and removed, but whatever you're asking for beyond that, I can do. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about overloading your faith. That essentially means that you're taking the limits off of whatever you're believing God for and knowing that He is going to do it. We have to do our part in believing in our hearts, casting down those thoughts that go against God, and essentially stepping out on faith and trusting and working and walking with God as we go through this process. I look forward to talking to you guys over the next couple of weeks as we journey and dive more into this. I thank you so much for being with me. Have a great day.